So the raid commenced at around 1:30 today, and there was about 9 plainclothes security forces that entered the Madame Mansour office, and they confiscated everyone's phones after asking them to essentially open them and allow them to be browsed. So there was fairly a communications blackout for the most part for the next 3 or 4 hours. Essentially, some members of staff were able to leave, and we were in touch with them and were able to still publish things about the raid and what was happening. But up until about a half an hour ago, we did not have further updates. At that point, 3 of our staff, our chief editor, Lina Abdallah, our managing editor, Mohammed Hamama, and one of our senior reporters, Rana Mamdou, were arrested. 2 of our other staff members, who are foreign nationals, one is a US national, one is a UK national, was left the premises of our office and taken to their homes. The idea at the time, we thought, was that they were going to be deported. However, thankfully, they were released. They're at their homes now. Our lawyers and a member of the journalist syndicate in Egypt have been trying to enter the Do'i police station, where we believe Lina and Hamama and Rana are being held. They have not been able to enter at this point. That is kind of the latest. And also, we just heard, actually moments before I came on the air, that Shady Zalat, the editor that was arrested over the weekend, has been released. He was let out on Cairo's Ring Road, and his lawyer was in touch with us minutes before going on air.
Okay, so we now have three people still under arrest, and the editor who was arrested yesterday has now been released, you were telling us. Looking at the timing of this raid, a week ago your outlet published an article on President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's son. Can you tell us more about that? Could it be linked?
I think it would be slightly remiss to speculate on causation. Obviously, we publish many very informative but also very risky reports in Egypt. We kind of have made a name for ourselves in this way. I would say that after September 20th, when there was anti-government protests in Egypt, things have been slightly different in terms of the calculus around political risk. For example, Shady, when he was arrested, he had been under surveillance for the last 3 weeks, and this was before this article was published. My personal opinion, I think there's definitely something where we publish a very sensational and risky news piece that, and you see these kind of escalations after. But I can't tell you clearly, in part because the actual government does not provide any account of what's happening. It's entirely opaque. There is zero transparency and communication with anyone. So we're left to speculate. And an informed speculative guess is that there could be something related to this, but you're always left guessing.
And what is the situation for press freedom in Egypt at present?
I mean, I think depending on what happens here in the next days or so, it could be a death knell for press freedom in Egypt. I think Madame Mansour has operated in this rarefied space where we've been able to publish things that no one else has. I mean, I speak to Egyptian journalists on a daily basis, and I mean, these are people outside of Meda's offices and even those inside Meda, and there's a constant worry and fear of retaliation, of arrest, of, I need to provide for my children. I can't risk this, even if it is very important information. And so Madame Mansour has been able to operate in this rarefied space for a long period of time, but that seems to be changing. And if it is in fact several of our very prominent members have been arrested, I'm not sure how we figure things out and continue. And there isn't really anyone else on the Egyptian press landscape that's able to speak out because of these draconian measures.
Daniel O'Connell, thank you.